Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Can I see some faces? I just want to see who I'm talking to, at least in the beginning.
Good morning.
And welcome. We got quite a few people joining us today. While we're waiting for everyone to come in, can you all introduce yourself and give us a little background of who you are, where you're located, and how'd you hear about us?
I'll go ahead and start. I'm attorney Robert Worrell. I'm here in Atlanta, and I heard about you. I was at a seminar, I guess a couple of months ago with you, Ms. Watts, there
Yes.
at the Gwinnett Entrepreneurial Center.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. Marlon.
Yes, I'm Marlon Worrell. I'm in Savannah, Georgia. I am a pastor and an educator, and I heard about the seminar from my brother Robert.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Welcome. Mario.
Oh, shoot. What happened?
Mario, can you hear?
Hey,
Yes.
yes, ma'am, I can now. Good morning.
Yes. Introduce yourself and how'd you hear about us?
My name is Martin McKinnon. I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I heard you speak here at the Millie CEO conference,
Okay.
and so that's why I'm here.
All right. Well, we're ready for you. Good morning. Derek Williams.
Let me see. Get my face. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Derek Williams. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I had the honor of seeing you on the panel at the SBDC, and I had just received my 8A.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations.
All right. Thank you so much. Good morning.
All right. Christian Canty. Look, I'm having more brothers on here. I'm liking this. Generally, it's always dominated by my sisters, so we need the brothers in here as well. It is 9:31. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. Dina, good morning. Dina is part of my team. And Dina, you got the list. You got the entry. Admitting everyone. Hi, Miss Charlotte. Glad to see you here.
Yes, I don't know what my computer froze a couple times. Hi, everybody. I'm Dina, and glad to see so many people. I see you made it, Rob. Good for you. And we're
Okay, you're still freezing.
I will come off on camera, but I'm having a puffy in. But welcome. Y'all in for a
You're going in and out. Well,
I
I'm
know.
I'm
gonna leave and come back in. I don't know what's happening, but
Uh,
everybody is freezing up on me.
Okay. All right, everyone. I got a lot to cover this morning. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this presentation. And let's sit back. We're going to have a little church this morning, if that's all right with you guys. So this is interactive. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. And let's keep it moving. All right. I will say consistently, now is our time. It is our time based on what I've seen occurring with this administration. In 23, they issued an executive order mandating specifically that the award amount for Black-owned businesses are increased. They want that increased to 15%. And last fiscal year, they tracked the dollars that were going to minority-owned companies. For me, again, I like to always start out with your why. If you're going to be in business, you have to have a why that drives you. And my why is my father, who was one of the first Black police officers in Asheville, North Carolina. He ended up suing the city on discrimination, won, retired, ran for city council, and then he was able to get a funding for a park that was near the projects. So for me, I'm all about our community. That's all that I've seen. That's all that I've grown up with. This right here, Madam President, we've got to have her back. I'm just anticipating when she do win that the doors are going to open up a whole lot wider for our community. And what I consistently say, they can open up the doors, but are we prepared? And 99 times out of 100, we're not prepared. So that was the reason that I'm anxious and wanting to get this information into our community, because this is the way that we do create generational wealth. For those of you who have not heard of me, my name is Paula Watts. I am the CEO and founder of Government Procurement Innovators. My background is a little bit different than everyone else in YouTube University, meaning I started out on the government contracting side where I had almost $15 million in contracts and almost 40 employees. But before starting that business, I like to say I grew up in the 8A program. By a show of hands, can you tell me if you've heard of the 8A program? And if not, we're going to go into a little bit deeper. My first job was with the 8A company doing event planning. And I was planning events for the White House. I was planning events for a lot of senior level agencies. And not only was I planning those events, I was sitting on the inside of those meetings and I began to understand how the government operates and how the money flows. So I ended up attaching myself to one contract that was a part of the 8A program. And every 3 years, I went to a new 8A company. So I ended up going through 6 8A companies before starting that first business. The first year in business, I received my first $1 million contract. Second year, I applied into the program and it took off pretty quickly. I also had 2 business partners. And that's where a lot of the challenge began for me, meaning I went from a project manager to running a multi-million-dollar company and didn't have a clue of what I was doing. I had the one business partner who felt like he could run all of his personal expenses through the business. The last straw for me was a custom-made $3,000 pinstripe suit with his initial going down the pinstripe. I ended up having my assistant to do an audit on his credit card. He takes her in the elevator and threatens her. I then terminate him. He then conspired with 2 employees, one which he was having an affair with, to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. After 2 years of attorney fees, $125,000 in attorney fees, $100,000 to buy him out, I had no more operating cash. So I transferred $7 million of my contracts to another 8A firm. And that really pushed me to my new passion because I realized no one was training our community on how to start a business and grow a business and manage a business in that capacity. So I volunteered for 2 years as a SCORE counselor with the district office in DC. set up a government training program there because, again, I knew no one was training our community. After 2 years, ran out of money, applied for a position at SBA, and I was hired in the Philadelphia district office. That office was an office that actually processed the 8A applications. So I was able to get a great understanding from my colleagues on what they were looking for in accepting businesses into that program. My job was to service those businesses once they got into the program. After 4 years there, I wanted to get closer to my home of North Carolina, my home state of North Carolina. I relocated here to Atlanta in 2012. While I was in this district office, they required that we become certified as a contract specialist. And for me, that was the missing piece, meaning I'd run a business for 10 years. I'd worked for the SBA for 7 years, but I wasn't quite sure what steps the agencies took as it relates to putting that solicitation together for you to compete on. So by becoming certified as a contract specialist, that was the complete piece of the puzzle. In 2015, I paroled myself or fired SBA, and I've trained more than 10,000 businesses on marketing to the federal government. And I've assisted small businesses to win over 1.5 billion in contract awards across various industries. I've also self-published a book called That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. And its names have been changed to protect the innocent, but it kind of documents the experiences I was having in that first business and trying to run it and deal with crazy. You're gonna have crazy in your business. Somebody gonna come in there with craziness. What are the small business challenges entering in this space? While working at SBA, I realized that we would host webinars or host events, and everyone would leave excited with great information. We would send you to our resource partners, and that's great information. But no one really understood how to connect the dots. And I will consistently say, unless you work on the inside of SBA, no one knows their rules and regulations. And it's the same thing with the government agencies. It's more, I would say it's worse now because you have a whole transition of a lot of the institutional knowledge that is leaving. So I've been working with my 8A firms to help them educate the newbies that's servicing them at SBA. So for me, it's understanding what you're getting into and what are the barriers. So often we don't know the language. We don't understand the process. Once we get those certifications, what documentation is SBA looking for? Also understanding that each of these websites, each of these agencies work in a silo. No one talks to each other. So for me, that's where I realized the confusion starts. And for me, I also understood that these agencies are assuming you understand what they're talking about. And for me, the reason and the purpose I created this program was because I knew we didn't understand the language. I went back to my ancestors. My ancestors, as slaves, knew if I could understand the language, if I could read, if I could write, I know it'll be better for my children's children. So again, that goes back to my why, my purpose. Based on all of that was the reason that I created GPI. What tends to happen is a lot of small businesses will start their business on their skill set. a lot of the resource partners will tell you, stay in your lane and start locally and at the state level. When I won that first $1 million contract, my mentor pulled me aside and he said, "Why are you pigeonholing yourself?" And when he said that, it made sense. Because after I won that $1 million contract, I was no longer doing event planning. I was managing a business. And then I looked back at the companies I'd gone through and looked at those that were successful. I changed my business model. I created divisions. And I had a event planning division, I had an IT division, I had a communication division, I had a database division. And once I created those divisions, I started getting contracts in it. And so for me, that's the role of a CEO, for you to understand that you don't have to know anything about that contract to win. When I look at basketball, because my daddy wanted me to play basketball, when I look at that industry and I look at the NBA, we want to push our children to become Stephon and LeBron. And I'm saying to everyone, if LeBron is making 200 million, how much is the owner making? And does he have to know anything about basketball? Absolutely not. So what's the goal of the owner of the NBA in managing those teams? Anybody? You can unmute. Or go ahead, Jerron, what's the role? You can unmute yourself.
Okay, to increase revenue,
And how is he doing that?
television, advertising, selling, merchandise.
That's part of the equation, but he have to initially start with his dream team.
Exactly.
So that's your role as the CEO, is to be able to create a team that now you can market to the government. Is that making sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Also, in this space,
Yes.
understanding that collaboration is key. When I look at 27 people online right now, that's one big contract. We have got to learn how to collaborate. All of SBA's programs and all of these contracts are designed for you to work together. So in our second module, we teach you to work together. We put you into teams, and at that stage, I'm the government. You've got to learn to work together, and it's real life. Third, you must have the infrastructure. But what do I mean by infrastructure, anyone?
Business credit, checking account, your credentials as far as being incorporated or whatever. So
Somebody else help me.
Processes.
Somebody else help me.
The capacity to service the contract.
Attorney and accounting, your infrastructure. You heard I just got sued.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you have an employee hire employees, you need to make sure you have employment, practice, liability insurance. Can somebody write that in the chat? Employment, practice, liability insurance. Had I had that insurance, that would have covered the lawsuit and the partnership buyout. Hold on. Okay. What's the beginning of the government's fiscal year, someone?
October 1st.
October 1st to September 30th. So for you, as a business owner, you have to be strategic in this place. The best time to start marketing to the government It's generally October through March. And with this being an election year, the money's gonna look a little different based on who's winning, because the agencies tend to hold back based on who wins the election. But what happens in this process is that the government operates on what they call a continuing resolution, meaning right now they have not been fully funded. Have anybody been paying attention to the news? And have you heard of CR before? And how long is this CR? Anybody? When is the budget, the budget that they just passed under continuing resolution?
I believe it's January 15th.
December 20th. And so what they tend to do is in increments in 3 minutes. I mean 3 months. So what happens by the time the agencies get their money, which is generally I would say March or April, they have April to September to get rid of all of the money. So that's the peak bidding time. This time, while they are twiddling their hands, is the time to start networking and building those relationships. So by the time the money falls, they know who you are, you know what they're getting ready to buy. Now you're in front of it, and it's still relationship driven. Why federal contracts? Every year, SBA negotiates with every agency on setting set-aside goals. 23% is set aside for small businesses, 5% for women-owned, 5% for small disadvantaged businesses /8A. They just increased the service disabled veteran. Do I have any veterans online? To 5%. Thank you, Brian, for your service.
Yes, I'm a veteran as well.
Thank you. 3% for HUBZone businesses. So what does that really mean? The more certifications you have, the more you helping the agency achieve their goals. Meaning if an agency awarded a contract to you for $100,000, they get $100,000 towards their goals. If you're a woman-owned, the agency now gets $200,000 credit towards their goal. So the more certifications you have, the more you helping the agencies achieve their goals. And over here, SBA keeps a scorecard ranking and determining how these agencies fared in meeting their goals. So you can look at the scorecard as a potential strategy. Which agency didn't meet their women-owned small goals? So you can see here they fell short. As a whole, maybe I'll target that agency. So look at these scorecards as a potential strategic approach. But I also want you to look here. This is the small disadvantaged businesses, which is, again, for minority-owned businesses. They were awarded $76.2 billion in the last fiscal year.
I have a question about that.
Huh?
I have a question about that one.
Yes.
So I've been told from several agencies or sub-agencies, even people, that the small disadvantaged business category really isn't a target, and that you got to be certified in either 8A, women-owned, veterans, etc.
Most agencies, if you're 8A, you're automatically a SDB. So they're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. So, but you still can self-certify, and I'm gonna go into a little bit more depth about that shortly.
Thank you.
Right here, the Senate just passed this version to increase the threshold for sole source contracts. And I'm gonna go into details about what sole source contracts are from 4 million, and their proposed threshold is to 8 million. That's a game changer. And it's going to apply to all of these programs. So again, the goal is to get into the game early, understand how it works, so that we're in a better position to have access to these contracts. What I realized when I left the DMV area and I went to Pennsylvania and even coming here to Georgia was that people outside of that area really didn't have a clue based on the number of businesses that were certified in the 8A program. When you look even this year, the amount of businesses in the Virginia and Maryland area is almost 1,700 or 1,600 businesses. When you look at when I came here to Georgia and I started looking at some of the surrounding states, you can see the number of businesses in this program in May as of 46 in the 8A, and in North Carolina, it's 73. So to me, there's a problem because I refuse to believe that we have more than 73 Black-owned businesses in North Carolina that can qualify, and the same thing in South Carolina. When I came here to Georgia, this number has been consistent since I arrived here in Atlanta. And so what I was finding was businesses from the DMV area was coming here and winning contracts. What's here in Atlanta, Georgia, someone?
CDC.
CDC? And then in the entire state of Georgia, what else is here?
Airport.
Hmm?
The airport here in Atlanta.
Airport, that's the city.
You have Warner Robins Air Force Base.
There's 5 military bases. North Carolina, there's military bases. Anywhere there's a military base, there's a contract. So your game is to minimize your strategy. Minimize your competition. And this bothered me so much. That was one of the reasons that I left SBA, was because I realized people were getting these certifications and no one was really winning, or they was just sitting on it because they didn't know what to do. So when you look at this chart here, I use this database to pull some of the data. What does this pie chart tell everyone? Does it say anything to you guys?
That
No,
we're not, that we're not getting the business in.
Yeah.
Huh?
We're not getting the business in Georgia.
We're not competing.
Right.
We're not competing. 0%. The dollars are over here. It tells a story. And I knew it from a gut, but I used this database to prove my point. And you can see, I actually pulled out who was actually coming here to Georgia and what agencies was winning contracts. And again, it's not us. And then when you look at the 8A program, it's even lower. And out of the 208 businesses, it's 117 Black-owned. And what I saw in the when I was servicing them, I had 40 businesses. Out of the 40 businesses, maybe 5 or 6 was really winning contracts. Nobody else was winning. This is my $1 billion baby. She started with me at SBA. She changed her business model to Dawson Management Consultant. And last year she won her first $1 billion contract, managing USDA's assets and foreclosed property. She's following the blueprint. I told her, once you win those contracts, make sure you go buy a building. So she just bought a building because understand how America makes money. America makes money through its real estate and labor. That's how we came over here. So now you're allowing the contracts to pay for the real estate. Makes sense to me. This is the database where you go and register for opportunities. I tell small businesses, start at the federal and come down. Because on the federal side, they have contracts that are specifically for small businesses that are 250,000 and below. And you're not competing with as many people because if you're looking at the local and the state, you're competing with the same pool of people in that area. Whereas if I'm in Georgia, I find a contract in California, I can compete on that. So there's no need to limit yourself. As an example, I pulled this opportunity out last month. It's for marketing materials, actually for SBA. When you look at the opportunities and what they're looking for, do I need to be in a manufacturing to do a bid on this someone? Anybody?
No.
No,
What-
no.
No,
What would you do?
you will find someone that's in marketing materials, partner, collaborate with them, use your leverage, your service disabled or your 8A, and go after the contract.
This is just small business. Don't have nothing to do with any of the certifications.
Oh, okay. Well, you just collaborate and go after it, right?
Now you're gonna find you a subcontractor and your role is to manage. But you're gonna screen the vendors because you gotta make sure that they can manage this volume. So that's all you're doing is project management when you think about it in this space, because it has to go to 2 locations, it looks like, in Georgia and in California. So you're looking at volume, and whoever you subcontract to, you need to screen them. Does that make sense to everyone? Church quiet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
This right here, every agency, every year will have a forecast. I like HUD because HUD updates their forecast every month. And the forecasts allow you to get in front of the contract, meaning they're gonna tell you what they're looking to come out in that next fiscal year. They're gonna tell you when they're gonna release it, and then they're gonna tell you when they anticipate awarding it and the length of that contract. But right here, you're seeing they are also giving you email addresses. If I'm in business, that's half the battle. Who is the person that is doing the buying? So you can now get ahead of it and start reaching out and asking questions so you're not reacting when that opportunity comes out. It's telling you what the acquisition strategy is, total small business, full and open, and anyone can compete on it. It's now getting in front of it. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how do we get into this? You can self-certify as a small business into SAM, Systems for Awards Management. This is still a relatively new database, and we always called it such a mess and it's still such a mess. That's your first test. You can self-certify as a small business and as a small disadvantaged business. There are only 4 programs that require a formal sort of application, meaning you're going to submit it to SBA and they're going to approve you into that program. The 8A program is a business development program. The HubZone program is designed to build communities, and woman-owned is just what it is, and service disabled is just what it is. For the 8A program, hear me now, I do not push people into this program until first you've won some contracts as a small business, you've built relationships. My goal is that you have contracts waiting on you before you get into this program. Why is that so key? Because this is the only program that I know that's designed to build your business and allow you non-competitive contracts up to $4.5 million. Did the church hear that? Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Amen.
Man, yeah.
For 9 years. So the game that we play here with this program, hear me now. We always gonna have somebody else coming along behind us. Meaning, if I'm married, then on paper we married, but getting into this 8A program, you're separated. Y'all playing, y'all don't know each other, but both of you all create your own entity. So when one graduates, another's in line to come through. Now you have 18 years in the program. And I say that because one of my other successful students, she's done about $75 million in contracts. She leveraged that to get an Amazon contract. She's now doing development. But 3 years ago, her son was leaving the military as a service disabled vet. He was 26 years old. I told her, get him incorporated, start subcontracting to him now. She's graduating this year. She's trained him up. He's going after opportunities on his own, but she's been carrying him for the last 2 years. So now he's in a position to become 8A. And then she has a 23-year-old and was like, what are y'all doing? I want to get in the game. So she came through my program. Now she has her own business. Are y'all hearing me? This is how we create this generational wealth.
Creating a cycle.
All right. Do I have any real estate agents online? Anybody in the real estate?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
You cannot go in this program under that industry code. The code that you'll need to change and make sure that's on your tax return is the 541611. Somebody put that in the chat. 541611. That's the management consulting code. And everyone, when you're registering SAM, should have that code. And especially for this program, because that's where a bulk of those contracts come under. The HubZone program is based on where your business is located. As long as your business is located in an area designated as a HubZone, and 35% of your employees reside in a HubZone, it doesn't have to be the same location of that business, then your business can qualify into that program. Previously, the social component of the 8A program consisted of, as long as you were a member of any of these ethnic groups, you automatically qualified under the social component. Since the lawsuit last year, now we're required to write how we've been traumatized being Black in America to prove how we've been socially disadvantaged, which is crazy. That makes no sense to me. but we do what we have to do to get access to those sole source contracts. And again, I built up my team of all my retirees on this side, so we know the language that they're looking for. That doesn't worry me as much. The economic component, your adjusted net worth cannot exceed $850,000 minus any equity in your home and in your business. If you have real estate, rental property, that's counted against you. And please, those of you, and I run across this so often, if you have multiple businesses with different tax ID numbers, you're not going to be able to qualify into this program because SBA, part of the requirements in this program is that you work full-time under that entity. And if you have other entities with revenue coming in, SBA is saying, well, we don't know which master you're servicing. And if you're giving you 9 years of access to non-competitive contracts, we need to make sure that you are full-time. If you also have revenue coming in those other entities, and you go after contracts, just say without the certifications, and you designating yourself as a small business under one of those entities. Somebody protests, and they know that you got 3 or 4 entities going on. SBA comes in and combines all of those entities together because now you're affiliated to determine if you're really a small business. Anybody have any questions on that?
No.
Yes.
Yes, there's a question from Jerron. Can you go back to the last slide? I was just trying to know which slide he was talking about. Jerron?
The one before this one. Yeah, okay.
What was the question?
No, I just wanted to see that. I missed that last slide because I was writing down some notes.
Anybody else question?
Yes, net worth. That's for all the certification programs, that criteria?
That's for the women's program and the economically disadvantaged component of the program and the 8A only.
So what are the certifications or which programs do not have that requirement?
Small business, HUBZone, service disabled.
Thank you.
Ms. Watts, and I think I understand, but now when we say that net worth for 850,000, that's just entry into the program. After, you know, if you meet the threshold and meet all the requirements, after you're accepted into the program, at this point, you have the ability to maximize your net worth and take it high as you can.
No, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, sir. The whole program is you need to be poor. They just increased this the last couple of years. It used to be 250.
Oh, wow.
What I tell businesses, keep it all in the program. I mean, in your business. You can have a salary up to $400,000 based on the contracts that you're getting. But no, you can graduate early from the program. I can graduate you, which means the program has done its job. Did I answer your question?
It did. If I'm understanding, circle the money through the business and maximize whatever salary. If you can have a $400,000 salary as the CEO, putting the dream team together, maximize your salary at $400,000. Whatever you need to do, get below that 850 threshold, tangible, and then compartmentalize the other funding through the business. Did I get it? Okay.
Correct. Yeah, because every year I review your eligibility requirements and all the things that you apply for, you're going to have to provide to me every year. Now, the HUBZone program, It has also for the 8A program, if you have a record, but you're not on probation or parole, you can apply into this program. And for me, that's a way to change the dynamics of our community and how this just us system has done to us. So for me, if we're able to train those that have touched that system to have another pathway, because in the end, it's all about economics. That's why most of them are in there. We have to take care of each other right now. That's the way I'm seeing it. And providing the avenues for them to be a success, and which means our communities are better. HubZone, there's no term limit on this program. You recertify every year. And you see in here that you have opportunities for competitive and sole sourcing as well. But the difference between this program and the 8A program, in order for an agency to do a non-competitive sole source contract, is that they have to be assured that there are at least 2 businesses that are qualified to perform on that contract. That's called the rule of 2. So what I tell businesses is that in here, both of you, have 2 of you go after it. Try to force the agency to do a sole source. Your goal is to minimize the competition. In this program, you also get what they call a 10% price evaluation preference, meaning anybody outside of the program, the agency is going to add 10% onto their costs. If it's, as an example, let's say I'm in the HubZone, I submit a bid at $535,000. Someone who's not in it submitted at $500,000. The agency is going to put 10% on that $500,000 bid, making theirs $550,000. I win. Your principal office must be in the HubZone, and 35% of your employees must live in the HubZone. When they're talking about principal office, they're talking about where most of your employees report. I was the HubZone liaison in Philadelphia and here in Georgia. I had a 8A firm who had a corporate office in Cobb County, which is a high-end county, but he had a HubZone office in Columbia because he had a contract at Fort Gordon, and that's where most of his employees reported. This is the HubZone map. If you put your address in, then it's going to let you know whether or not you're in a HubZone. When HubZone does not necessarily always mean hood zone. In the Georgia district office where I was located, that office was a HubZone. You can see the areas that's designated as a HubZone. Why do you think it was a HubZone, someone?
Because it's primarily minority underserved economic value.
What we got the Ritz-Carlton down there, we got Deloitte down there, we got Hyatt, Regency, Marriott.
Correct. But the houses in that area all are low income homes. Vine City, the city of Atlanta, 4th Ward, all of those areas are economic disasters.
Is that close to this area? This is this address.
Is it because it lacks the presence of minority business in that area? So
it's a homeless shelter around the corner. It used to be.
Right.
That's what drives it down.
Good. Okay.
All right. Is that you, Mr. Williams? Had your hands raised?
Yes, ma'am. And my question was, so because the 8A does sound attractive, but is it advantageous to try to parlay? Because you said collaboration, I believe collaboration is definitely better than competition any day of the week. My question becomes, would it be advantageous to, while I just received the 8A and everything is fresh, and I think my home is in a hub zone, and you have to be 20.
If you got the hub zone, you really need to come to the program because
I don't have it yet. I can go get it though.
oh no, we don't want you to get 8A. Don't get 8A. 8A is once you have a strategy, once you won some contracts as a small business, once you tagged up with somebody that's graduating from the program, once you have a game plan. I don't want people to be the average 8A that I saw on the inside. You only have one time to get into this game, and that clock ticks very quickly. Okay? The women's program.
I have a
Yes,
question.
yes, somebody
So-
had a question? Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much. So my question is about, you said you couldn't have two businesses for AA, which I'm not at that point yet anyway, but my question is, if you do have multiple businesses, how would you close them? You know, like what would you need to do?
You will have to change ownerships. You will have to either dissolve it if you don't have any activity, or you can merge them all under one.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Would
Thank you.
transferring into a trust serve as an option as well?
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
I have a space in a hub zone. How often, or what is the criteria for it continuing to be in a hub zone? I'm in Peachtree Corners.
It's based on the Census Bureau. Every 10 years, that map will change because it's based on those areas and it's based on the census data.
Okay, every 10 years. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
The women's program is broken down into two components: economically disadvantaged and just the WOSB. If you apply for the economically disadvantaged component, you're automatically a WOSB. You don't have to do two applications. And what they've done now is centralize these databases into one. That's relatively new. I haven't gone on that database to see if they have any bugs in it, where previously you had to go to separate databases to upload the same information. Now they've streamlined it so that you're only uploading your information once, because the same information for the 8A program you're going to need for the ED program of the women's side. It's the same criteria that they're looking for. Again, you can go through a third party certifier. To me, because I'm a control person, I'd rather you do it yourself, because you're still going to have to provide the information to these third party certifiers and upload it. They're going to upload it into the database yourself. For this program, again, no minimum amount of time, full-time. They said doing normal working hours, but there's ways to get around that. You cannot be a front. You cannot lie to the government. I was in Philadelphia when this program became law, and I was getting so many calls from the men trying to understand how they can get their wives in a position. That wife have to manage that business. All of these programs require 51% ownership. It cannot be a 50-50 situation in any any of these entities. And if you have a partner in the 8A that is 50-50, then both of you would have to use up their 8A status. Because that's how SBA looks at it. I would always encourage people to do the 100% ownership. You can team. There's different ways to get the same benefit. The Veterans Program, again, you have this rule of two as well. I need to update this. VA does determine your disability, whether it's 2% or 1%. As long as you have, I think it's the DD 214, you're able to qualify into this program as well. This program now is being managed by SBA. They're looking at a 2-week turnaround time for this certification. For the women's program, I know they had a backlog before they changed the database. I'm not sure how long they're taking, but it's generally, they were saying at that time it was 6 months. Yes, Miss Denon.
Hey, Miss Paula, how are you? Good to see you.
Good.
Yeah. So as a service disabled veteran-owned small business owner and woman, of course, does either, and this is where I am right now in getting certified, finally, making it through SAM and having stuff in order, changing business name, structure, that thing. Does one kind of trump the other, like, if you're a
Yeah, right now, the veterans do, because y'all get first priority.
Absolutely. No, that makes me smile.
Yes.
So I guess I just want to be clear. So if I have a service disabled veteran owned, do I also need to have the woman owned?
Yes, those are
Okay.
all separate programs.
Yeah, that's what I okay. That's what I wanted to know.
And if you any contracts at VA, you automatically get top priority over everyone, all the programs.
Okay, so for me, then I would need to have both of those, the woman owned and the service disabled.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. And okay. All right, that's good. Thank you.
This is a link, and again, you can go on there and they're going to provide you with the documentation that you're going to need.
Yes.
This is where a lot of people get confused. All these certifications. Everybody always start up. I'm DBE, MBE, EEE, FFF, all these E's. Oh, it drives me crazy. These E's, MBEs, WBEs, VBEs is for the corporate. I say start with the federal because again, under the corporate, you don't know who's buying what. You're dealing with more competition and you don't know their money. On the federal side, I get to see where their money is falling. I can begin to build those relationships. The states is DBEs. Here in Georgia, the MARTA, if you're in Pennsylvania, SEPTA will process those applications, and DOT for every state will process those DBEs. I don't like those DBEs because they never allow you to be your own boss. You have to be a subcontractor. And then based on where you're located, locals will have their own certifications. But I still say 8A trumps everything, but don't get into it until you leverage to understand and build relationships. Again, there's a cost associated with the other certifications. These certifications on the federal and state are free. I'm going to take you to some websites before I go over my program because I'm a visual person. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions? No questions.
Well, I think I got one. Can we make sure we put that link for the VA? Because if I understand, and you said, because I'm service disabled, veteran-owned small business. And any forecasting jobs with the Veterans Administration, if I heard clearly, I get top priority on that?
That is correct.
I mean, of course, you got to have the past performance or be able to execute the job. But as far as just getting in front of them and CEOing,
Yeah, you don't even have to have past performance on these. This is what we teach you in the program, how you get around it.
oh, very good. Okay. All right.
And over here is the link where it talks about each of the programs. But my goal for everyone is that you tie into the SBA's Mentor Protege program first before you get the 8A. Why? If this used to be only a benefit under the 8A, the other side said that's not fair. It should be open to everyone. So they passed this in 2020, and now this is open to all small all small businesses. And so this is part of our training and what we're teaching you, how to strategically leverage these programs. So when you look at the benefits, what do you all see for you as a protege? Anybody?
It looks like a lot of business development and mentorship opportunities to learn what you're doing.
You're getting the infrastructure. You get to get money if you can't afford that contract, because you got to finance that contract, right? So to me, is to begin to build a relationship and date, because why would somebody, a large business, want to mentor me? Because they can't get access to these programs. And to me, I strategically would have a mentor before the 8A, get approved into that program. So I know when I'm accepted, I'm walking in the door with juice. I'm walking in the door with that mentor's relationships and their infrastructure. And I'll give you an example. I had a person, he only been in business 2 years. He got in the 8A program under the waiver. His cousin had graduated from the program. I told him, go find you a mentor. The clock is ticking. He found him a mentor. I helped him get into the Mentor Protege program. They created a joint venture. A year later, their very first contract was $53 million. The second contract under that joint venture was $100 million. That's how we create generational wealth. That's real money. Are y'all hearing me?
Yes.
We so used to chasing the crumbs and thinking
Yes.
crumbs is a whole lot, but I'm saying and telling y'all, no, it's a lot of money. So it doesn't take that much for you to get into the program, right?
correct.
Mr. Williams, you had a question.
I just have one, and please forgive me, and you can bring me back to course if I go off. But with relationship to the mentor protege, right? So let's just say I'm courting a prime right now, right? And they are under a contract with the government with the IDIQ. I'm not too familiar with the IDIQ.
Mm-hmm.
Does that IDIQ that the prime has, would that make that more exciting to me to partner with that firm versus trying to find another firm?
I wouldn't, because again, IDIQ doesn't guarantee you any contract. You're still having to market that IDIQ. That's just another contracting vehicle like 8A.
Okay.
I would be dating folks.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. And we teach you all how to date through our program. All right. So when I look here, I don't like date. Can y'all see this website? I don't like sam.gov. I like this database when I'm looking for opportunity. Sam.gov is confusing. So if I let's just say I'm looking for some of the low-hanging fruit. What does the government have out here? If I type in RFQ, and again, this is a commercial site, but it's tied into sam.gov, it's going to show me opportunities. And again, you just trying to get your feet wet. Right here, dry ice. Right? The government needs dry ice. You go find somebody that has dry ice and
Go after it.
subcontract with it. So again, the government specifically set these RFQs aside for small businesses because that's not as the liability isn't as high. Those are run and done. And that's how I say get your feet wet.
What
I
about fed bid speed?
So
What
I
about
like
fed bid speed?
that's a page and that's another website. I know that that's a contract under SBA, but I like this myself. I look at this because it's the reason I like this website better because it's broken down by year and by day. So I can go in and see what opportunities by what industry is out, right? Is every alphabet will have industry associated with it. That's why I say you don't have to pigeonhole yourself. We help you create a business model that's not necessarily on your skill set. I do not have to know anything about that opportunity to go after it. So when I look at what's out here, I'm all automatically trying to identify who do I know that might have that particular skill set. Does that make sense to everybody? That's why I say education. Here was something for mindset leadership edition training, right? You're just finding someone that have that experience. This right here is the other database that I use when I'm looking for where I'm trying to create a strategy, because this allows me to look at contracts that have previously been awarded. You can go in here if you're targeting CDC. I can go in here and see, well, what did CDC purchase or buy? What are they buying? So you can see the previous award. Just think of this as a checkbook. Anytime a contract is awarded, the government posts it to this database. When you look here, let me see. This was one of our students. Just to give you an example, these are the low-hanging fruits that she started out with. When you look at this opportunity, the government needed a 3-day meeting space. This is the run and done, a 3-month job, right? They needed a 3-day meeting space. She found a hotel, negotiated with the hotel, $48,000. She put her bid in at $104,000. When you go down here, it tells you everything about that acquisition. And you can see here, what was the competition? One. There was only one received. No competition. And the closer they get to the end of the year, they're like, okay, that looks good. It was a total small business set aside. So this is how we begin to build our capital. Then people always want to know, well, how do I make money? I'm showing you a proposal that I came in second place on. So every time I look at this, it hurts my feeling. But I wanted you to get a general idea of how you make money in this space. This is a 5-year contract doing grant reviews for the government. I am hiring all of these positions on behalf of the government. These are full-time positions. And as we started winning contracts, more contracts, I started splitting our time, the owner's time, across each across each contract as direct labor. Each person this was the hourly rate for these positions, and you're giving them a raise each year. The government understands that it costs me to hire individuals, so they're going to reimburse me for all the health insurance, vacation, any fringe benefit. They're also going to reimburse me for my overhead. My rent, a part of my salary, the partner's salary came out of this. This is, again, just on this one contract. Then you have other direct costs. It was passed through. I had a subcontractor. And then they have another pool of money that's called general administrative expenses that the government's going to reimburse me. Part of my salary came out of that. I had a bookkeeper. Her salary came out of that because I was having to reimburse a lot of people. And after everything is said and done, this would have been my profit each year. And had I won that contract, it would have been 1.2 million just to take it home. All right. Anybody have any questions? Is this making sense to everybody?
Yes, ma'am. That's nice money.
That was just on one. Oh, let me get to that because I know we're going over. I want to be conscious of people's time. This program that I've created where I've combined my first business templates and what I saw on the inside, I've broken it into 3 modules. Everybody always asks me, I've already did this. I'm registered in SAM. Do I need to take and start this here? Yes, I've been doing this for 9 years because you don't understand what SBA is going to look like and what you look like today. And by the time you complete the program will not be the same. So the first module is templates, showing you how to start competing on the low-hanging fruit. Second module, we're putting you into teams, and you have to do a capabilities briefing at the end of this module to me as the government in person. This right here, the third module, is all around the A-Day and creating a strategic plan, leveraging the 8A and the All Small Mentor Protege program. Minimum 15 to start. I'm doing a discount. I need a maximum of 2 people, no refunds. We do allow you to 6 year to come back and listen to the class. I am going to be having a early bird rate until Friday. That's going to give you $200 off. If you bring in a second person, that second person has to pay $1,000. I would recommend y'all, if y'all interested in it, that y'all connect and start a collaboration today on this webinar. Put your name in the link if you're interested in taking the program and collaborating. My goal is to make it cost effective, but I'm also in business. You meet once a week from 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. The next class will start on Wednesday, October 30th. Everything is recorded. In addition to the weekly class, to provide you additional support, we have office hours on Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you need support completing your homework assignments, because every week you will have a homework assignment and that you'll have to complete. The program is set up as building blocks. You are doing the work. Lab sessions Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. All of these templates I took from my first business, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You'll hear me say that consistently. You're not going to have to reinvent the wheel. I do have a self-paced. These are 16 pre-recorded. You still have access to the office hours and the lab sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Same materials, still have to do complete your assignment. These are the things that I will be looking for in your deliverables for each of the modules. This is a sample of the team deliverable. And then I have proposals and things that I have from that first business. Anybody have any questions? Any questions?
Hey,
So do you
I,
offer any, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
So do you offer like Afterpay or anything, or is this as a one-time payment?
Do I, PayPal do have a no interest, 6 months, I believe. You will have to go through their website. There was a bug. I did have it on my website, but there's a bug in it. Any other questions?
I'm responding to Derek, my cousin. I am Dina. Hey, Derek. I left my number in the chat. I'll give it to everyone now. I am Dina, and the number is 301-693-4758. I am in Maryland, East Coast time. Reach out.
Okay. Anybody else questions? I
Who do
guess
we,
take
excuse
away.
me, who do we talk to with the self-paced program?
It's online. You can talk with Dina. Dina, did you put your number in the chat?
I did.
Okay.
Is
Right.
that Juanita? Yes.
Yes. Juanita Reddish.
Okay.
Okay, I get some takeaways. Anybody?
Well, what I took away from it is
Somebody has a takeaway.
I took away if we learn and pay attention to strategize and collaborate and follow the processes that I think the hard knocks that you learn, Ms. Watts, that pay attention to detail and follow the steps and don't get too excited and go to 3 before you get to 2, then we should be successful in this endeavor.
And and people always want to get to the contracts.
And
if you don't get if you get the contracts, and then what?
Right. Yeah, if you get the bear and don't know how to eat the bear, then you just sitting with a bear.
I have an attorney. Government buys everything. So let's look at this. My attorney online. Don't you deal with a lot of court reporters, or used to, or would know someone in there?
When I used to, when I was a real estate attorney, Miss Watts,
Yes.
because I was with a firm. We had an 8-8 contract back in we were doing all of the HUD closings back in the day.
See? This is all look.
Wow.
That's what I would say, but you don't have to stay there just because you're an attorney. I would dress you up and you would not have the attorney be the main focus, because the government have a lot of attorneys. They don't need attorneys. A management consulting firm. Anybody else? Mr. Proctor, what was your takeaway?
My takeaway is that one, there is an easy way to find all the low-hanging fruit. And that working together is really advantageous.
And creating generational wealth.
That's right.
Key. Ms. Williams.
Yeah, thank you. So my takeaway is, so I used to be a director of a women's business center, and so I've done a lot of webinars with different people from SBA and different entities. So my takeaway was that this was just a lot more in depth, and I'm so glad that I came on. I really appreciate your time. This is amazing information. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Mario.
Yeah, my takeaway is, as someone who's already registered through SAMS, and I've renewed it twice and still hasn't done anything with it, because from the outside looking in, it just seems chaotic. And so, education. What I took away from today is that just education is key. Just knowing how to navigate, and then kind of go through the plan. So yeah, I'm excited about joining
The
your class.
process. And for me, it's all about community. In my database, my goal when I left SBA was to collapse all those silos. All them resource partners are in one, and teaching us how to collaborate. I talked about us understanding the language. So I understood, right? If I find a contract I'm in Georgia, I just searched for California. I got somebody in California that I can reach out to that's in this database. Cut deals. I specifically said it this way. This is how we begin to take over. That's my goal, is this is my little underground railroad. Because every state, we're going to have a contract. This is how we utilize each other. Okay. Unless anybody else have any takeaways, please put your information in the chat if you want a copy of this recording. The next class is October 30th. I will be teaching that class. I do have 6 trainers. 3 of them are SBA retirees. Others are on the industry side. All right. Anybody else takeaway? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
I just have another question, real quick, about joining your program. I'm on the website. Just want to see where exactly is it at to get started and everything.
It is. If you go to GPI Win and you go to upcoming classes, you'll see the October 30th and the self-path. If you hit register, this is where you're going to get the discount. Okay.
Can I ask one question? And this is an opinion-based question, I guess. How do you feel about the National Veteran Small Business? No good?
It still all falls down to SBA.
Okay, fair enough.
All the programs are under SBA.
All roads lead to SBA.
Yes, and what I found on SBA side, nobody's run a business. So everybody's limited unless you run a business, even their resource partners.
How ironic is that, right?
Unless you, under my test for everybody, it's asking, have you had to meet a payroll? If you haven't had to meet a payroll, then you can't really feel my pain.
I promise you're correct on that.
All right, Jerron, you have your hand raised.
Yes. I'm not a veteran, but I'm a public servant. I'm a paramedic. Is there any advantages for public servant?
You talking about your skill set, right?
That and also getting the contracts.
Yeah, but I'm not going to base your business on your skill set.
Say that again.
Your business is not going to be on your skill set.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I wouldn't do that.
All right. Yes, there's opportunity. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you all join this. Get
Oh, I have
ready.
one.
Yes.
What if you have to miss one of these sessions for your program?
Everything is recorded.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Paula?
Yes.
Hi again, and to everyone here. You know what? I wasn't going to say anything, Ms. Paula. You know me. I have gone through this course. I've had Ms. Paula as the instructor for that course. And look, this is a non-solicited, non-paid verification. I usually am one. I'm kind of shy, sit in the back, so to say, and just take it all in. But I really do feel compelled to say, hey, look, you want to take this course. You really do. The information, if you just consider the information that we got here just today, and think about what you knew before you started this webinar, right? Well, add that like just on steroids when it comes to the course. Very, very thorough. I loved it because you know what? I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. Literally everything that you need is provided in this course. It really is. And I mean, you're going to work, yes, but it's going to be so worth it. One of the worst things that I found had to do was, you know, or we could do is start doing our business. We're going through the day to day. We think we know what we know. And then you run into the brick wall. Then you got to go back, start, change this, that. Look, this cuts out all of that. It cuts out all of that. It's an amazing course. Like I said, it's non-solicited, what have you, but I feel compelled to say, look, if you don't do this, you are missing out on a lot, more than I can even begin to tell. And also, look, you know, okay, don't get mad at me, family, all right? But we always want the hookup. We always want the discount. We all want, and that's okay, that's cool. But as a business owner yourself, you understand, right, how it's like, hey, I'm giving you your worth and more, okay, in what you're charging for your product. All right, but look at the names here. There's your group. Y'all team up. You know, go in and go in together. And right now, already, you don't realize it, already you have gotten the people that you're coordinating with and going to be collaborating with right there in front of you and more. This course is invaluable. I know people who have already started kind of on the process and just in chatting with them, and they're telling me the difficulties that they're running into, and I'm thinking to myself, and I've tried to encourage, hey, you know what? I know a course that would really, really benefit you. And some won't. They rather continue to bump their heads up against the wall and you know, forward and backwards. Look, and I'm gonna stop it right here, but I'm telling you, this is a course that you really do. Well, why are you here, Charlotte, if you've already taken the course? Because look, we're now a family. I'm thankful we can come back. There's so much information, it can be overwhelming. There's always the opportunity to reach out and you know, and get or reconfirm what you think you know or what you don't know. And look, we find a way when it comes to one. We want that name brand purse, them name brand shoes. We out here wearing all of this and that. Okay, we looking rich, but guess what? I heard somebody say, I'd rather have a $300 purse with $3,000 in it than have a $3,000 purse with $300 in it. Think about that when it comes to this course. It's going to change your life. It's going to change your life.
Thank you.
Wow. It's gonna change your life.
Wow.
Do it. Look, we need to learn how to work together. The enemy is always about separating and dividing. What you're gonna learn here in this course is mind-blowing, mind-altering, life-changing. It's life-changing. You got to do it. Find a way. You got to do it. Love you, Miss Paula. All right.
Wow.
It's 11 o'clock, y'all. Thank you all for staying over.
Thank you.
Thank you all, and I hope you become a part of the community. And
our family, let's go.
Children, let's change our future. We are the pathway for our children's children.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Y'all have,
Everybody have a fantastic weekend.
all right.
Thank you, Ms. Watts.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.